Hello students. So last lecture we had seen about Maxim-Gilbert method of a DNA sequencing, which is a chemical modification method, right? So today we will be seeing about Sanger's chain termination sequencing method. So this particular method is PCR based. When I say PCR based, that means the amplification would be taking place, or this particular method depends upon a modified DNA replication reaction. So why do I say that it is a modified DNA replication? Because there are some slight changes from your normal PCR that takes place in this particular method. Okay, so first of all, let us see what is one of the major changes that takes place in the Sanger's method. First is addition of your dideoxynucleotides. So what is a dideoxynucleotide? Let us understand this. So you can see here that this is a normal DNTP. So in the case of your normal DNTP, you will be seeing that it has a 3' OH group that is present, and this 3' OH group is very important in case of formation of your phosphodiester bond, which forms between the two nucleotides which are placed one after the other. So this particular OH group plays a very important role in the elongation step of your replication. But when you see the structure of your dideoxynucleotide, dideoxy it is called because in this carbon also one oxygen is removed, so hence it becomes a deoxynucleotide. In this particular molecule you will be seeing for both these carbons the oxygens are being removed. So this particular OH group now is being removed from here. So hence it becomes a DDNTP, that is your dideoxynucleotide. And because of this, what happens is, you can see the reaction over here. So if this is a normal GTP, okay, so GMP gets added in your the chain. So now the next particular molecule that comes into picture is a CTP. So when CTP comes, now it requires this free 3' OH group to attack to this particular phosphate group so that the phosphodiester bond is being formed. But now what happens is, because of this absence of your, if in this case this is a instead of a GMP, here what happens is it is a DDGTP got added. So what happens is it is missing your this OH group, and hence the phosphodiesters that are being formed between these two nucleotides cannot be formed between these two nucleotides because of this missing 3' OH group. So this is the role of your DDNTP. So whenever a DDNTP gets added, what is going to happen is the elongation will get terminated. Okay, so that is the role of it. So now what happens is, as we had seen in Maxim-Gilbert method, here also the reaction will take place in 4 different ependroph. In one of the ependroph, you are going to add all the requirements of the PCR. So here remember, you are going to add only a single template. So it can be if you are adding a double-stranded DNA, then the first step would be your it would be the denaturation of your DNA, and then there would be, instead of adding 2 primers in a normal PCR, you would be requiring a forward primer and a reverse primer. In this case, you will require only the forward primer. Okay, so only one of the template will get sequenced, or it will get amplified. Both the templates will not get amplified, or both the strands will not get amplified. So this is also one of the changes that you can say, or alterations that has been made in the PCR. Apart from that, the Taq polymerase, all the 4 DNTPs would be added in each of these ependrophs. Kindly remember this. But what is going to be different in each of these ependroph is, so in this first ependroph, you will be seeing that DDATP is added. Here DDCTP is added, here DDGTP, and here DDTTP. So if this is the sequence of addition of the incoming DNTPs, what may happen is that so these are the different possibilities that you will be getting. So there could be chance that when a particular template is getting amplified, what may happen? Neither of this DDATP got added. So you will get the entire stretch of your DNA. Now it may happen that instead of this first position, instead of a normal DATP getting added, a DDATP got added. So the termination will take place there itself. Okay, so that is how different things, different things can take place. So here you can see that the C has to be added at this particular position, this or this. Now there would be 4 possibilities in that case. Some of the templates will be adding the DDCTP at this position, so it will get terminated in this, only a small fragment would be formed. Now it may happen in the some of the templates that it gets terminated at this, some of this and some of this. This is how different lengths of your fragments would be formed depending upon at which position a NTP is getting inserted. So once you have got this reaction has been completed, then we would be running it onto the gel. So as we have seen, the shorter fragments will be running faster and the longer fragments will remain very much closer to your gel. So depending upon their positions, you would be now reading the sequence or reading the gel from bottom to top. So here it is G first. So you can see G, then T, then A, then C, then again T, A, T, G, G. That is how your sequence is going to be done. So let us see an example. So if this is a particular sequence that you need to, double-stranded DNA that you need to sequence, first denature the sequence, okay? And as I said, only the forward primer would be added. So if this is your template, okay, this is your template. So what happens is, you'll be seeing that, so if here in this particular Eppendorf, you have added DDTTP. So wherever A is there, a T has to be added. So there are now A at 2 positions. So there are 2 possibilities. Either a DDNTP will get added at this position, or it may get added at this position. It may also happen that DDNTPs are not getting added and all the DNTPs are getting added. In that case, the entire stretch would be sequenced, or the entire stretch would be amplified. Not sequenced, it would be amplified. Okay. Same thing over here. It is DDATP. DDATP has been added. When an A would be added? Whenever there is a T in the template. So T is here, here, here and here. So wherever a T is there, an A gets added. So there are now 4 possibilities. You can say actually 5 possibilities. 4 possibilities if there are DDATPs added. The 5th possibility, that neither of the DDATPs are added and the entire DNA gets amplified. That is also possible. Similarly for GTTP and DDCTP. Okay. So once you have got this different fragments, depending upon the insertion of their, or depending upon the termination of the amplification, you would be getting this gel, and then as I told you, you have to count it, or you have to read it from the 5' end to the 3' end. One important thing that I would to tell you at this position is that in case of your Maxam-Gilbert method, one thing that we had is, whatever was the template that we were using, the sequence we were getting the same. Here it is opposite. That means whatever template you would be using, the sequence that would be you are getting is complementary to your template. The sequence is going to be complementary to your template. Kindly remember this one thing. Okay, let us quickly summarize the entire thing. So first we have to get a good amount of DNA to start with the amplification or your PCR. Then you will have the whatever your DNA template or whatever your DNA you need to sequence, the DNA has to be allocated in 4 different tubes or Eppendorfs. In that you have to add the PCR mixture. So PCR mixture which is going to be common is primer, Taq polymerase, template, all the DNTPs that will remain in all the 4 Eppendorfs. Now DDNTPs will go in 1 Eppendorf respectively. Then you will run the PCR. Once you have run the PCR, every Eppendorf content is going to be run in a single well of your gel electrophoresis, and then you have to interpret the result depending upon how the running has taken place or the bands you have observed. So this is a quick revision or a comparison of your Sanger's method and your Maxim-Gilbert method. As I had already mentioned in the Maxim-Gilbert method, that Sanger's method is an enzymatic method. So we depend upon DNA synthesis over here. Here it requires only DNA. We do not require any synthesis. It is a chemical method. So truly there is no enzymes that are using. We are only using chemicals. Sanger's method depends upon the termination of chain elongation, whereas Maxim-Gilbert method depends upon the nucleotide modification, so that a purinic site and your pyrimidinic site are formed, where using piperidine you can break the DNA. Okay. So automation is available in case of Sanger's method. So nowadays, whatever your sequencing methods, the automated sequencing methods that you have, the basis is your Sanger's method. Whereas in case of Maxim-Gilbert method, because the chemicals are very, very toxic, automation is not at all possible, or till now automation has not been achieved. So single-stranded could be used in case of Sanger's method. In Maxim-Gilbert, you can start with a double-stranded DNA. If you are starting with a double-stranded DNA, then you have to apply denaturation first as the first step, or you can start with the single-stranded DNA. So these were the two conventional methods of DNA sequencing. In the next lectures, we will be seeing some next generation sequencing methods. Thank you.